The dermis, which is the part present below the epidermis. So here I have drawn a Venn diagram to understand the parts of the skin. Firstly, the outer part, the epidermis, the part below it, that is the dermis, and lastly the subcutis, that is the hypodermis. अब ये जो dermis region है, इसे हम दो पार्ट में डिवाइड करते हैं, that is the upper part, the papillary dermis, and the lower part, that is the reticular dermis. और इसमें आप नोट कर सकते हैं that in the papillary dermis we have the presence of the free nerve endings, and also it has presence of the mucinous corpuscles, whereas in case of the reticular dermis, which is present in the region which is the lower part of the dermis, we have the presence of the raphenic corpuscles, which are a type of mechanoreceptors, and also the sweat glands, which are the sudoriferous glands, and the sebaceous glands, which are the oily glands in the root of the hair follicles. So we'll be discussing all of the types of the sensory somatosensory receptors very soon. As I mentioned, the papillary dermis contains the mucinous corpuscles involving in fine touch and the two-point discrimination, and has the presence of the free nerve endings. That is, due to the reason of the fine touch, it has two-point discrimination, that is, it has the ability to sense the smallest change present in our body. And it also has the presence of the dermal ridges. So, moving ahead, we have the reticular dermis. Then, in it we have the raphenic corpuscles. और ये जो raphenic corpuscles है, these are a type of mechanoreceptors. Mechanoreceptors वो जो signal transduction में help करते हैं. And further, we have the sweat glands and the sebaceous glands and the root of the hair follicles. In the region of the hypodermis, which is derived from the mesoderm, it comprises of the Pacinian corpuscles, which are also a type of mechanoreceptors. So here we have the Pacinian corpuscles. So starting with the different types of somatosensory receptors present on our skin, we have the firstly the raphenic corpuscles. अब हर एक receptor के बाजू में मैंने लिखा है that is the SA and the FA. So the SA stands for the slow acting and the FA stands for the fast acting. And also I have a mnemonic which would help you to remember the function of each receptors. So the raphenic corpuscles are the encapsulated dendritic endings which adapt slowly to the stimuli and are located in the region of the fingertips and the joints. And they have the function for the stretch and the warmth receptor, that is the temperature. So we have the mnemonic that is the star, in which S stands for stretch, T stands for temperature, और ये function होते हैं of the raphenic corpuscle. And similar to it, for the temperature, the opposite which we have is the crosses end bulb, which is responsible for taking up the sensation of cold temperature. The mnemonic that is cold, KOLD, instead of COLD. Then we have the mucinous corpuscle. So the mucinous corpuscles are the fast-acting receptors, which are highly myelinated fibers and adapt quickly to the stimuli. And they are present in the hairless region, which is also known as the glabrous region. And the function of it is to detect light touch, vibrations of low frequency, and the sensation of position. So the function of the mucinous corpuscle can be remembered that it is, since it is present on the smooth skin that is devoid of hairs, so it is involved in the detection of smooth touch or fine touch, that is the light touch. And next we have is the Pacinian corpuscle. The Pacinian corpuscle is also a type of fast-acting receptor. So due to it, it is also highly myelinated. आपने एक चीज नोटिस की होगी that in case of the mucinous as well as the Pacinian corpuscles, we have the large myelinated fibers. अब यही large myelinated fibers are the reason for which they are the fast-acting receptors. And these are located in the region of the ligaments, the joints, and the deep skin. And since it has the function of detecting vibration, we have the mnemonic that is the VIP, which stands for vibration in Pacinian corpuscles. The next receptor which we have is the slow acting, which is the Merkel's disc. So ये जो Merkel's disc है, it is also a largely myelinated fiber, but still it has slow adaptation to the stimuli, whereas in case of the Pacinian and the mucinous, we had the fast acting adaptation to the stimulus. So due to it, it has the continuous action potential which is ongoing, and so is the reason for it being the slow adapting to the stimuli. And here the Merkel cells are located in the region of the fingertips. So fingertips ऐसे region है जहाँ पर hairs grow नहीं होते, तो इसे हम कह सकते हैं कि it is a part of the hairless skin or glabrous skin, and the superficial skin is the part where the hair may grow. So an easy way to remember the function of the Merkel's disc is that we can say that Merkel is hard to pronounce, and so is the hairy skin, the H for H, और इसके जैसे we have it function for the crude touch, that is the pressure. We can relate it and study it by that way. Then we have the free nerve endings. So in case of the free nerve endings, we have the C fiber, which are the slow unmyelinated fibers, whereas we have the A delta, which are the fast myelinated fibers. जो भी nerves में myelination कम पाया जाता है, it is mostly the case that it would be slow, और जो भी nerves में myelination ज़्यादा पाई जाती है, it is the case where the speed of the neuron, the speed of the generation of the action potential and the transmission of the action potential is very high. So these free nerve endings are present in all skin areas in the region of the epidermis and the viscera, and are involved in the sensation of the pain and temperature. So as we've discussed previously, the diagram here, we have the mucinous corpuscle, then we have the free nerve endings, the raphenic corpuscles in the region of the papilla, in the region of the reticular dermis, and the Pacinium corpuscle, which is present in the region of the hypodermis. So अभी तक हमने cells of the skin कवर किया, receptors कवर किए, epidermis के layer कवर किए. So अब हम skin के appendages की तरफ बढ़ेंगे. So we have the two main appendages in our skin, that is the nails and the glands. So starting with the nails, so ये एक general anatomical structure है of the nail. In it we have the proximal nail fold, which is also known as the nail root. Then we have the eponchyme. अब eponchyme ये region है जो एक border form करता है between the lacun, between the lunula and the skin, between the skin region. And then we have the lunula, which is a semi-crescent shaped moon-like structure present in our nail bed. Then we have the lateral nail fold. Lateral nail fold ये region जो भी एक boundary form करता है between the skin and the nail plate. So here we have the nail, which is also known as the nail plate, and surrounding region को हम कहते हैं paraonychium. So here we have the transverse section in which we can take a look that we have the nail root, which is inserting deep into our skin. Then we have the proximal nail fold, the eponychium, the lunula, the nail body, the hypoonychium, that is the part which is devoid of the skin, the phalanx, which is the bone itself of the finger. Then we have the dermis जो अंदर वाली layer है, and the epidermis जो बाहर वाली layer है. So इससे related we have a clinical, that is the onychia. Onychia is the condition in which the nail folds जो lateral side पे present होती है, it becomes inflamed, and this condition is known as the onychia, that is leading to the inflammation of the nail folds. और जो nail है, it has importance since अगर nail brittle रहा या फिर split रहा, then it tells us that it has deficiencies in our body, which are, in case of the brittleness of the nail, we have iron deficiency. It could also be thyroid problems or kidney dysfunction. Whereas in case of the splitting of the nails, we have folic acid deficiency, which is the vitamin B9, and the protein deficiency or vitamin C deficiency. So इनमें से कोई भी अगर cause रहा, then it would lead to the splitting or the brittleness of the nail respectively. So now moving ahead, we have the glands, which is the another important part of the appendages of the skin. In the glands, we have the two types of glands, जो कि है the oil glands and the sweat glands. Oil glands को हम कहते हैं sebaceous glands, and the sweat glands को हम कहते हैं sudoriferous glands. So जो oil glands है, these are the type of exocrine gland which are branched in nature. और ये जो sebaceous glands होते हैं, these are mostly present in the region of the papillary dermis, which, as we discussed, that the dermis has the two parts, which are the papillary being the outer and the reticular, which is the inner. So जो sudoriferous glands है, these are present in the region of the reticular dermis. Now, as we know that it is a type of exocrine gland, और जैसे कि हमने पढ़ा है कि we have the three basic types of the exocrine glands present in our body, which are the merocrine gland, the apocrine gland and the holocrine gland. So, जो merocrine gland है इसमें जो भी प्रोडक्ट फॉर्म होता है विद इन द सेल, इट इज बीइंग शेड ऑफ, यानी सिर्फ सिक्रीशन निकलता है, इसमें कोई भी सेल का इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं होता, ना ही सेल रप्चर होता है. whereas in case of the apocrine gland, whereas in case of the apocrine secretion, जो ऊपर वाला पार्ट है, जो अपाइकल पार्ट है सेल का, it sheds off and it is, and within it we have the secretions. And the last type which we have is the holocrine secretion. अब holocrine secretion में जो पूरा सेल है, it has the secretory product and it gets shed off. The sebaceous glands, which are the first which we will discuss, the oil glands are the type of glands which are the type of exocrine holocrine gland. यानी ये भी एक टाइप ऑफ होलोक्राइन ग्लैंड है जिसमें पूरा सेल जो है वो शेड ऑफ होता है, एंड इट इज अ टाइप ऑफ ब्रांच ग्लैंड एंड इट इज लोकेटेड इन द रीजन ऑफ द डर्मिस एंड द फेस एंड द स्कैल्प एंड इज एब्सेंट इन द रीजन ऑफ पाल्म्स एंड सोल्स. इट हैज द फंक्शन ऑफ सिक्रीशन ऑफ सीबम. अब ये जो सीबम है वो दोनों ऑयल और वैक्स से बना हुआ होता है, एंड ड्यू टू इट हैज़ द वाटरप्रूफ प्रॉपर्टीज. सिंस आपने देखा होगा कि तेल जो है वो वाटर के साथ कभी मिक्स नहीं होता, इट रिमेन्स apart since it is a non-polar compound, whereas water is a polar compound. So इसके वजह से it gives a waterproof property in the region of the dermis and the face and scalp. So इसका जो regulation है, it is maintained by the two hormones which is the dihydrotestosterone, which is a type of androgen, and it is inhibited by the estrogens. So इसीलिए जो भी पर्सन में, इसलिए जिन लोगों में डायहाइड्रोटेस्टोस्टेरोन का लेवल ज़्यादा होता है उनमें स्वेटिंग का अमाउंट भी ज़्यादा होता है as compared to normal individuals. And here I want to mention the structure of the exocrine gland, that is we have the glandular part. अब ये जो glandular part है, since we know that जो exocrine gland है it is a type of branch part, ये अपनी secretion किसी branch के through देती है to the target site. So we have the two parts of the exocrine gland which is the glandular part. अब ये जो glandular part है इसमें आपके secretions बनते हैं जो भी हो, that is इसमें मेरोक्राइन, अपोक्राइन और होलोक्राइन टाइप के सेल्स पाए जाते हैं. और इसके बाद जो पार्ट आता है इट इज़ द ट्यूबुलर पार्ट, और इस ट्यूबुलर पार्ट से जो टारगेट साइट है उस तक जो सिक्रीशन है वो पहुंचाया जाता है. सो मूविंग अहेड वी हैव द अदर टू टाइप्स व्हिच आर द मेरोक्राइन एंड द अपोक्राइन. सो मेरोक्राइन ग्लैंड को हम एक्राइन ग्लैंड भी बोलते हैं, और ये जो मेरोक्राइन या एक्राइन ग्लैंड है इट विल गिव इट्स सिक्रेशन इनटू द स्वेट पोर व्हिच इज प्रेजेंट इन द रीजन ऑफ द एपिडर्मिस. और जो अपोक्राइन ग्लैंड है it is present in the region of the reticular dermis, और ये भी अपना secretion देता है in the hair root region and it is eventually nourishing the hair shaft. So as you can see that we have the hair bulb which is the lowest part of the hair cell, and then we have the blood vessel which is supplying the hair bulb itself. So here we can take a look that we have the two types which is the eccrine gland and the apocrine sweat gland. और इन दोनों में एक कॉमन चीज़ होती है, दैट इज दे हैव द सेक्रेटरी यूनिट दैट इज द ग्लोमेरुलम. अब ये ग्लोमेरुलम वो पार्ट है दैट इज जो ग्लैंडुलर पार्ट हमने देखा था, इट इज़ दैट पार्ट, और जो टारगेट साइड पे रिलीज करता है इट इज़ नोन एज द एप्लोसिरेंजियम. यानी इस वाले पार्ट को हम कहते हैं ग्लोमेरुलम, वेराज जो टारगेट साइड पे स्वेट रिलीज होता है उसे हम कहते हैं एप्लोसिरेंजियम. एंड this glomerulum is surrounded by the myoepithelial cells. So myoepithelial cells इसलिए because in the region of the dermis we have presence of both the muscles which are the arrector pili muscles. अब ये जो arrector pili muscles होते हैं ये responsible होते हैं for the piloerection, यानी जो भी आपको goosebumps आते हैं these are produced by the arrector pili muscles, and the regulation of the sweat gland is under the control of the two hormones which is the growth hormone and the thyroid hormone. और थायराइड हार्मोन से रिलेटेड भी हमारे पास एक क्लिनिकल सिग्निफिकेंस है, दैट इज इन केस ऑफ द हाइपरथायरॉयडिज्म. जो पेशेंट्स होते हैं उनमें स्वेटिंग ज़्यादा होती है बिकॉज ऑफ द एक्सेस ऑफ थायराइड हार्मोन रेगुलेटिंग इन आवर बॉडी, एंड जो ग्रोथ हार्मोन है इट इज़ रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू इंक्रीज द साइज ऑफ द स्वेट ग्लैंड, whereas जो थायराइड हार्मोन है इट इज़ रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू इंक्रीज द सिक्रेशन ऑफ द स्वेट इटसेल्फ. सो मूविंग अहेड, as we know that both are the types of the exocrine glands. इसमें जो excretory duct है ये ओपन करता है in the sweat pores, whereas जो apocrine sweat gland है इसका excretory duct है वो ओपन करता है in the hair follicle as we have seen previously in the diagram. So ये जो eccrine sweat glands है, these are present almost everywhere in our body but are absent in the region of lips, ear canal, the clitoris, the labia minora, glans penis. यानी clitoris and labia minora are the part of the female reproductive system, whereas the glans penis is the part of the male reproductive system. And जो apocrine sweat gland है, it is present in the region of the axilla, the perineum, the area of the nipple and the external ear. And moving ahead, we have the function. As we mentioned, the secretion of the sweat, which is responsible for the thermoregulation, and जो apocrine sweat gland है, it is responsible in the formation of the ear wax and the sweat and the breast milk. Then we have its regulation. जो merocrine sweat gland है, it is regulated by the muscarinic receptors, and जो apocrine sweat gland है, it is regulated by the sympathetic part, that is under the control of the epinephrine and the norepinephrine, whereas जो parasympathetic part है, it is under the control of the acetylcholine, and it acts on the muscarinic receptors, जो M1 to M5 receptors present होते हैं हमारी बॉडी में, और जो alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3 receptors which are part of the adrenergic sympathetic nervous system. Then जो combination है of the sebaceous gland, the erector pili muscle and the hair follicle, it is known as the pileo-sebaceous unit, which is a point to remember. और जैसे कि हमने पहले देखा, we have here the erector pili muscle, which is responsible for giving the goosebumps. And then we have the layers, which as we discussed previously, जो stratum germinatum है, it is nothing but the stratum basale, क्योंकि इसमें stem cells पाए जाते हैं. Then we have the stratum corneum. Stratum corneum सबसे ऊपर वाली है, stratum germinatum जो है वो सबसे अंदर वाली है, and it is nothing but the stratum basale. Then we have the stratum spinosum. अब stratum spinosum जो है वो layer जिसमें prickle cells या फिर spine cells पाए जाते हैं. And then we have the dermal papillae. Here we have the receptors, the somatosensory receptors, that is the Pacinian corpuscles, the hair follicle, the papilla of the hair, and the free nerve fiber endings. So this was the part. Now moving ahead to the last part of our video, that is the clinical significance related to the skin. So इसमें मैंने सिर्फ pigmentation से related जो disorders होते हैं वो include किए हैं in the skin, which are firstly we have the albinism. अब albinism ऐसी condition है जिसमें hypopigmentation of the melanin pigment होता है, that is melanin production is low. और ये क्यों होता है? Because of the deficiency of the tyrosinase enzyme or dysfunctioning of the tyrosinase enzyme, which is responsible for the conversion of the tyrosin into the melanin. अब ये जो tyrosin है, it is converted into the epinephrine, the norepinephrine और the dopamine. ये आप फार्माकोलॉजी में पढ़ेंगे जब nerve ending होती है. Then in it we have the conversion of the tyrosine molecule into the L-dopa, और ये L-dopa जो है वो convert होता है either into dopamine or any other substance, और ये फिर stimulate करता है to the receptor. अगर ये tyrosine absent रहा, then stimulation of receptor would not occur, और इसकी वजह से melanin synthesis भी नहीं होगा. So it is also a cause for the albinism. Then ये जो albinism होता है इसमें skin cancer का chances ज़्यादा होता है because इसमें melanin pigment नहीं form होता. And as we mentioned previously, जो melanin है इसका एक important role है to protect us against the UV radiation which is thrown at us by the sun. So the next one which we have is the melasma. अब ये जो melasma condition है, it is due to the hyperpigmentation of melanin. Now इसके causes हो सकते हैं due to genetic influence, due to UV radiation, due to more amount of pregnancy in a woman. Then we have the other reasons also, और ये भी पाया जाता है एक cause that people who consume oral contraceptives are more prone to develop melasma. So ये जो melasma condition है, it is stimulated by the female hormones which is the estrogen and the progesterone. अब इसमें जो है we have the melanocytes which are stimulating the production or the synthesis of the melanin pigment, और इसके वजह से जो dark spots होता है it occurs in the skin due to the hyperpigmentation. The next condition which we have is the vitiligo. अब vitiligo में क्या होता है कि कुछ कुछ जगह पे melanocytes जो है वो absent होते हैं, and due to it we have the albinic condition of the places in which we have the absence of the melanocytes. So it could occur due to the genetic influence or the autoimmune destructions of the melanocytes, which could occur either due to the oxidative stress, which is by the ROS, that is due to the reactive oxygen species, and it could also cause due to some other reasons. और जो लास्ट कंडीशन हम डिस्कस करेंगे इट इज़ द सीबोरोइक डर्मेटाइटिस. सो एज वी कैन ब्रेक डाउन द वर्ड वी हैव द सीबोरोइक यानी sebum as we discussed previously as the oil. Rhea means excessive secretion, or derma refers to the skin, and itis is the term which we used commonly for inflammation. So हम नाम से ही इस डिजीज का कंडीशन निकाल सकते हैं, दैट इज इट इज द chronic inflammation of the skin due to the overactivity of the sebaceous glands. So that is it for this video. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe.